lovers, it is gswiz here, and I'm here today to talk about some manga series I would like to read in 2024. So if you didn't know, this is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I'll link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out, where you can suggest a topic or participate in 7 on Sunday in the future. I like filming this video every year because I do like getting excited about reading manga, but I need to prioritize reading manga much more in 2024 because my manga collection is actually ever growing, it's ever expanding, and you probably have not noticed that because for some reason, whenever I record the books that I haul, I've just totally forgotten to record the manga that I've also accumulated within a certain period. And recently, I've only really been hauling the novels that I've been getting, but I should go back to hauling manga as well. A few months back, I asked a question about whether or not my audience would like me to do more manga related content on my channel, and I didn't necessarily get an overwhelming yes. I got a very solid no. And honestly, I think that's because my viewers are enjoying the content that I'm putting out about all of the fantasy / romance that I've been reading, and you know what, that's understandable. But ever since then, I've stopped hauling my manga. I barely talk about manga on my channel, and at the moment, I'm kind of barely reading any manga in general. And I want to get back to manga reading because I am excited about the idea of consuming all these manga series. I still love collecting manga, that has not changed. But when it comes to me talking about manga here on my channel and consuming the manga so that I can talk about it on my channel later, it just hasn't been something that I've been motivated to do. So I'm hoping that will change in 2024. I'm honestly hoping that, fingers crossed, the decline I experienced in my manga consumption will not affect me going into the new year. I want to read so many series. I have so many series I can honestly get so excited about. Like, I'm honestly so excited to talk about these manga series right now and why I want to read them, and how I'm also excited at the fact that so many people around me have been raving about these series. I cannot wait to read these. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about some manga series I would like to read this year. This doesn't encapsulate all the manga series I want to read this year, but I just don't want to be repetitive because there are some manga series I mentioned on my previous list that I'm either continuing or I haven't started yet. So I just decided that I want to give like a fresh new list here and to also spotlight these titles. So let's go. First and foremost, I have Prince Freya. This series very much reminds me of The King's Beast, except I'm pretty sure that there are no animal-human hybrids in this series. But to me, it looks quite similar because it very much gives me Mulan-esque vibes, as we are following a protagonist who is posing as a man while she is a female. It's also high fantasy, and I honestly cannot wait to read about this world because I want to get into more fantasy manga, specifically romantasy manga, shoujo manga that just so happens to be fantasy. This is a shoujo title, it's by Shoujo Beat, and I'm just so excited about this one because every single time I get close to finishing the volumes I have for The King's Beast, I get pretty sad, honestly, and that's because I want more to read within the world and within the series. So I'm hoping Prince Freya will hold me off in the meantime while I'm waiting for a new volume of The King's Beast. I'm hearing good things about this one. The synopsis specifically intrigued me. I don't know, I think Prince Freya and The King's Beast came out at a similar time in English, and I think that's why I overlooked Prince Freya for a while. But I recently collected the volumes that are out, and I cannot wait to start this series and let you guys know how I go with it. I'm hoping it's just as good or maybe even better than The King's Beast, but it's really tough to beat The King's Beast because I love The King's Beast and I cannot wait to read more by Ray Toma eventually. We'll see how I go with Prince Freya. And the next manga series that I've put on this list today is a manga series where I saw the cover of the first volume and I just knew that I needed to read it. I knew nothing about the series until only very recently. I literally purchased all the volumes because I love the cover art so much, but I only recently found out what the synopsis was after I had purchased all the volumes that are out at the moment, and that, my friends, is Fly Me to the Moon. This cover right here with this beautiful wedding dress, I might need to turn my ring light down so you guys can see. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. In fact, you know what? The color palette's very similar to the first volume of Prince Freya. The light blue, the white, the red, everything. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this aesthetic. So I only just recently found out that this series is essentially about a girl who is mysterious. She could be an alien, she could be a goddess, she could be any kind of figure. I mean, the manga synopsis is also quite uncertain, but she approaches the male protagonist and she's like, please marry me. We don't know why. But you know what? Marriage of Convenience is one of my favorite tropes ever, and the Fly Me to the Moon synopsis is giving me those vibes, so I'm even more excited to read Fly Me to the Moon. Oh my goodness. But you know what? I literally picked these books up because I love the covers so much. I mean, this cover right here is gorgeous. I love this wedding dress. I love this gown. I love everything about this cover. Knew nothing about Fly Me to the Moon before actually purchasing these. And you know what? I don't regret it because now I know the synopsis and I'm here for it. There are currently 20-ish volumes out at the moment. Currently have like a massive stack of this series. Yeah, I took a chance on it. So I'm really hoping I love Fly Me to the Moon just as much as everyone else does. I'm hearing great things about the series as well. It's a very notorious Shonen Sunday series. So that was also another justifiable reason as to why I purchased this series. I really hope I love this series because yeah, I forked out a lot of cash for it. And speaking of series, I forked out a lot of cash for it, but I reckon I'm gonna really love this series. I honestly do reckon I'm really gonna love Yona of the Dawn. Yes, I'm finally gonna enter my Yona era. I am so excited! First of all, look at how cute this cover is. Oh my goodness. My ring light is not doing these covers any favors. I need to make sure that it's tilted so there's no reflection of the ring light. That is just gorgeous. I love that cover so much. Oh, no, I just switched off my ring light. I've heard great things about the series from every romance reader who has read this series. Every single time I see a thread of like romance manga recommendations in a romance readers group, Yona of the Dawn will be mentioned constantly. And not only that, I have seen a few people suspect that Yona of the Dawn was the inspiration for the Blood and Ash series. And after reading the synopsis, I'm not gonna lie, I reckon it was. Yona of the Dawn sounds absolutely intriguing. I've actually wanted to read the series for like the last couple of years, but I've been waiting for every volume to be in stock. I still have 2 volumes that I need to collect, volumes 7 and 25 to be exact, but every other volume I have on my shelf. I am so excited to binge this series. I specifically wanted to get as many volumes in the series as I possibly could so I could binge the series, and we are very close to doing so. I know it's probably not great for my bank, but you know what? It was worth it. I mean, I technically don't know that yet, but I'm just hearing so many good things about Yona. I'm hearing that the series gets better and better and better and better. And yeah, I have like 40 volumes on my shelf. Actually 38 volumes. I still am waiting for 2. I have around 40 volumes on my shelf. So I really hope that I love this series just as much as my fellow romance readers. And these covers are absolutely adorable. Look, if I don't love the series, I'm pretty sure I could sell this series very easily, but I reckon I am going to absolutely adore it. I mean, considering that I love the Blood and Ash series and I'm seeing readers say this series looks like it was a heavy inspiration, I am counting on the fact that I will love this series. And yes, of course, we have more romance. I have The Midnight Secretary here, and this is actually a paranormal romance. I seriously cannot wait to read this one. This one contains vampires, I believe. This one is, yeah, mature. Okay, so this is technically a josei, even though it was under the Shoujo Beat label. So this might just be really enjoyable stuff for, who knows, either Valentine's Day or Halloween. It will work both ways. And unlike Yona of the Dawn and Fly Me to the Moon, this series is only 7 volumes. It's a very short series, but I'm hoping that it will make an explosive and impactful binge read. I also love that every volume is like a different color, so it just adds some color to my shelf, because as much as I love the covers for Yona of the Dawn and Prince Freya, their spines are white. I like a little bit of color on my shelves, and I'm really happy that this series adds some color to my shelves. But I'm hoping that I love the series just as much as I love the aesthetic on my shelves. I'm hoping that the series is one that I will want to keep for years, and one that I would like to revisit for years to come. I do go to paranormal romance for comfort, and I'm hoping that The Midnight Secretary might just be a very comforting one. It is rated mature. I'm not too sure if that means that it's gonna get violent, but considering that it is a romance, I'm kind of expecting it to get a little bit steamy. I reckon that there might also be some adult themes. Maybe the characters are just like aged up, because Everyone's Getting Married is a shoujo slash josei series that I read in 2023, and even though there were moments where the characters were getting intimate, I noticed that the content wasn't super smutty. Rather, the characters just found themselves in like adult situations that teens aren't gonna want to read about, like corporate situations and stuff. So I'm wondering if The Midnight Secretary will have similar themes. I don't know, we'll see. But I am very much looking forward to trying this one out, and I hope I really love it. And the next manga series I would love to read this year is Call of the Night, which is another paranormal series. I believe it might be a paranormal romance as well. That might also involve vampires, except it's under the Shonen Sunday label. So I honestly don't know what to expect from the series whatsoever. So initially, I was not interested in the series. But then I watched one of my favorite AniTubers here here on YouTube, Gigak, who is 1/3 of Trash Taste. I absolutely love watching his solo videos talking about seasonal anime and also his ranking lists and everything. And he started talking about Call of the Night one time. And I've seen this manga around, but I never thought to pick it up at all. Until he mentioned that it was one of the best animes that he had watched in a while. That it just felt really good. It felt very freeing to consume, but also it had a very interesting story. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take Gaunt's recommendation. I'm going to read Call of the Night and eventually watch the anime. So I specifically picked this series up because Gaunt recommended it on his channel, and honestly, I trust his recommendations. I hope I love it just as much as Gaunt loves the anime. I'm not too sure if he's read the manga, but since watching his content, I've noticed that I have a very similar taste in anime and manga to Gaunt. So I reckon I'm actually gonna like this. We'll see how I go with it. And I hope that I can recommend it to you guys as a great paranormal romance manga. The next manga series I would like to start in 2024 is Boys Abyss. I've heard absolutely great things about the series from friends, and also the cover art is just so pretty. I have been hearing that this is a good comp to Goodnight Punpun, which is another manga series I want to read, but also I just know it's gonna emotionally destroy me. So I should probably be very cautious going into Boys Abyss because I hear that this manga gets quite dark, but its art style is just so intriguing. This cover is just so striking, and it was enough for me to pick it up, but I need to read it. So I'm hoping that I can prioritize this manga series in 2024. I can hopefully finally do it because every single time I see a new volume come out, I feel so guilty. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been recommended this series a few times already. When is it gonna happen? I'm hoping it happens in 2024, so I'm hoping to pick this one up within the year to let you guys know how I go with it. But do pray for me because I don't know how much my heart can handle. I really hope that I'm able to stomach this. Actually, I don't know if things are like gross, but like if things get really emotional, oh my goodness, I might go feral. I'm gonna need some mental preparation before I go into Boys Abyss, and I'm hoping that I have that mental preparation before doing that this year. And these next two manga series were recommended to me by Camilo. He has been pushing me to read them, and so I'm gonna try to honor that. First off, I have Mashal, Magic and Muscles. When I first saw this title, I cringed so hard. Mashal is the protagonist's name, but I was just thinking, why would anyone call their manga Mashal and then say Magic and Muscles? It's literally a mashup of it's literally a mashup of magic and muscles in a word. I was just thinking, that is such a lazy title. Who would read this? Who would watch the anime? I don't know. I have been roasting the title of Mashal for around like a year and a half. Like every single time I see it in Kino, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's cringe, man, that's cringe. Camilo's friend told him that Mashal is a really good manga and anime series and that he needs to check it out. So Camilo did, right? He consumed the entire season within a day. And then he's just like, Grace, I'm gonna need this manga. I go out and order him the manga, and when it's delayed, he's just like, where's my Mashal? He was feral, man. He was feral. And then he consumed he proceeded to consume the series, and now he's like sad that there's like no more volumes at the moment. Like he's waiting on the next volume to come out. It's just so funny the way that Camilo just acted up during that period. He's like, I need my Mashal. Like, oh my god, wow, okay. Considering that he really likes the series based on the way that he behaved, I'm gonna read Mashal and I'm gonna watch the anime. I fully intend to consume this series this year, and you know what? The title did not intrigue me, but Camilo made it very clear to me it's pretty much a parody of Harry Potter. I was like, what? Are you serious? The title does not indicate that, right? But the protagonist's name is Mashal. Like, look at the cover, right? I'll turn my ring light down so you guys can see. I didn't realize this academy student is breaking a wand. Instead of using a wand, is he gonna use his like magic muscles or something like that? He's gonna probably do something that's just like out of the ordinary, but it's pretty much a parody of Harry Potter. As someone who is not necessarily a huge Potterhead, like I only read the series once and I don't intend on revisiting it in the future because I don't support JK. I'm not necessarily strict on what I would want to see from like a wizarding parody series or just a wizard series in general. So I'm going into this with an open mind. I'm more of a Percy Jackson girly, okay? I don't know, maybe it's because I read Percy Jackson before I read HP. I reckon I'm gonna like Mashal based on the fact that Camilo loves it. If I just so happen to love Mashal, I've got to apologize to this character for roasting this name. I would apologize to every Mashal fan out there, not necessarily because I thought you were reading cringe, but I did find that the title was really cringe to begin with. I still find it a little bit cringe. I think it could have been a little bit more creative. However, now knowing what the series is about, I am fully intrigued and I am so looking forward to devouring the series this year. And another series that Camilo recommended to me was Witch Hat Atelier. I'm holding up volume 3 because Camilo is currently lending volumes 1 and 2 out to a friend. And once they come back, I will now have them to binge read, hopefully. And you know what? I just came to a realization. Camilo likes magical manga. Because, I mean, we had Mashal, which had like a magical premise, and then we have Witch Hat Atelier. But honestly, I think Camilo would say that this series is like the superior series. He said that this series and Berserk are like his 2 favorites of all time, and I know how much my man loves Berserk. So, I just know Witch Hat Atelier is worth it. Every single time a new volume gets released and then he reads it, he gets depressed because he's like, oh, now I have to wait for the next volume and everything. He loves this series a lot. And I specifically remember going to the bookstore, Kinikini, a few years back, saying to Camilo, hey, you should check this out. It's got like a pretty cover and stuff. But, you know, the pretty packaging never really guarantees a beautiful story. So he was like, oh, yeah, no, I'll pass. A few years later, he watches a video essay on manga paneling, and he saw that Witch Hat Atelier was used as an example. And then he picked up the first volume, absolutely fell in love with it. Like, he was reading the first volume on the way out of the city when we were traveling from the bookstore back home, and he's like, Grace, I'm gonna need the rest of the series. So then I pretty much just ordered the rest on Amazon because we were already on the way home, and he got almost all those volumes within like the week, and then he consumed the series within the week, and he was obsessed. Now, when Camilo gets obsessed about something that I might potentially be interested in, I want to find out why. I want to see why he loves the series so much, because I know that when it comes to manga and anime these days, it's really hard to impress him. So that is why I would like to read Witch Hat Atelier. That's why I want to read Mashal as well. But Witch Hat Atelier is the one that Camilo is constantly recommending to me. Every single time I'm trying to figure out what I'm in the mood to read, but I don't want to read a manga, I'm like thinking about the books on my shelves, I think out loud, and I'm just like, what should I read next? And every single time he instantly is like, Witch Hat Atelier, you must read it. I think 2024 is the year that I finally need to make that happen. We'll see how I go with this one. I really hope it's worth the hype that Camilo has been drilling into me. The last, but certainly not least, manga series that I have to talk about today is Wotakoi. Love is hard for otaku. I have this box set here. I don't know, I just messed around one day and pre-ordered it off of Amazon. It was like 60% off or something. Like, I believe that the recommended retail price for this box set is like 250 Australian dollars, and I ended up getting this for pretty much $100. So I have all volumes here. All of them are nice. None of them were de-spec'd, which is nice, but I'm just hearing great things about this cast of characters right here. I'm hearing that this series is funny, it's adorable, that you just get absolutely engrossed and connected to their stories. I'm just honestly hearing so many good things about the series. It's everywhere on my Twitter feed, but I have not started it. I really want to watch the anime. I believe there's an anime. I really want to read the manga before I get to the anime though. This box set is like gorgeous. I'm so happy I have it, and it's aesthetically pleasing. I keep it on top of my desk shelf to kind of like be on display, and it's so pretty, but I need to read the series. I spent $100 on this box set. I have a manga box set here. I mean, I have a few other manga box sets that I need to get to, but that's a conversation for another day. And I especially need to get to Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku, because sometimes I'm just looking for a really good time, and I'm just wanting to read something that's like light, but also fun, but also hilarious, but also something to grip on my heartstrings as well, because there's like a romance in here, I believe. I see so many people on my feed absolutely obsess over these characters, and in all honesty, I want to join them. I want to go feral for these characters too. So I'm hoping to do that in 2024. I want to do that so bad. So I'm hoping that this will be the year of Wotakoi. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the yellow heart emoji. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already joined the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. @gswizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also GOODREADS. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at gswizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.